Hello, church family. I am Eric, and this is your weekly update. Now, this update I've tweaked a little bit. I want to try to streamline this as well. So the things I'll talk about here are things that are not already in the town crier. Maybe they're new things. Maybe there's some other resources to keep ahead of you. So I want to have this update be things that you can't see someplace else to not duplicate it and just overload you. Okay, let's get at it. Here are a couple of brand new things. And I will also have a follow-up message on CCB with all the links of anything we talk about here. The first new thing is this Sunday after service at 11:30 on Zoom. We're going to have something we're going to try, like a virtual lobby, kind of. We're calling it a corporate story sharing time, where all of us can get on, if you'd like, get on one Zoom call so we can see a bunch of friendly faces we might not have seen for a while. And then we're going to ask how people have seen God through this season so far. It could be in some really challenging things. It could be in some really encouraging ways. But we would love to have some stories shared on how we've seen God. And so if you're not sure what you'd share, if you want to share anything, show up anyway. You certainly don't need to share. But we're going to have that corporate story sharing time this Sunday, 11:30 to noon on Zoom. The link will be in the follow-up message on CCB that I'll post shortly. Second, we have a reading list of books and podcasts that our elders are currently reading and listening to. So if you're curious about what we're working through, or if you're looking for something else to read, this could be a great place to get some ideas. I have it posted on our blog, and I'll throw the link into this follow-up message as well, so you can peruse that and take a look. See what we're filling our minds with. Now, none of that is saying that we agree with everything that we're reading, but there's some really good things there. And if you'd like to interact with some of that content with us, there's the names of the guys interacting with those books as well. Okay, a few resources to, again, keep ahead of you. We've got CCB, which we're funneling all of our information through. If you're not on there, you can go to our website, thetownchurch.org/COVID-19, and there'll be a link there to sign up. Part of what's on CCB is something that comes out every Monday called the Town Crier. The Town Crier will list for us events coming up in the near future. So do look at that, since I'm not covering those anymore here in the video update. We also have a YouTube channel, which is what you're watching this on, the platform that you're watching this on. We have our Sunday services on YouTube, as well as daily devotionals there. You can subscribe to that YouTube channel, get a notification every time new content is posted. To get on there, I'll have the link on CCB message, as well as on our website under the tab COVID-19. You can find more information there. Also, our deacons are ready and available to help as needs come up. So if you know of somebody, or you personally, who could use some help, they would love to know about it so they can help navigate that. The best way to get a hold of them is Deacons, DEACONS, @thetownchurch.org, and they will get right back to you. Okay, I'd like to spend a little bit of time on one update. Thank you to all of those of you who have filled out that survey for us as we were looking for feedback on what's helpful and what isn't. I wanted to share with you some results from that feedback. People generally who filled out that survey indicated that they feel pretty well connected still to the people of the town church, even though we are now all virtual, and that there's resources there for you. Whether or not you take advantage of them, that they're there, and there's a general feeling that they have resources if they're needed. Sunday mornings also, the feedback has been really positive about Sunday mornings, whether it's the preschool lesson or the elementary kids lesson or the service itself, that the Sunday mornings has still been pretty solid. I mean, all things considered. Of course, we would all rather be in here together gathered, but since we can't, Sunday mornings have been working. We also received a lot of encouragement in general. So thank you for those of you who are encouraging us. And I also want to thank those of you who have some ideas for us. Here are a couple of things that were some common answers of things that we could address. One was certainly this idea of streamlining our communication with all the digital overload that we're feeling. We touched on this a bit last week and how we're trying to streamline our email communication to one on Monday, one on Wednesday, and then one on Saturdays as well. And if you're in different groups on CCB from which you're getting most of our email communication, we put a how-to video on how to change your settings so you just get one email a week that has a summary. So that was certainly one way. Another way was a concern to make sure we're facilitating help to those who need it. Again, the deacons is our number one way to be able to do that. If you're in a township, talking to your township leader is another great way to do that. We actually have deacons assigned to different townships, so that can be another really effective way to communicate needs so we can move resources around. So at least a couple of good ways to do that we already have in place. And some of you just find CCB really awkward, to be honest. It feels a little clumsy or it's hard to get to know. It's definitely a pretty massive system. There are all kinds of simple how-to articles and videos. And so if there's something you're finding particularly frustrating or hard to wrap your mind around, let me know. I'd be super happy to help you navigate that and get some things set up for you. Probably the best way to get a hold of me during this time is my email address, eric@thetownchurch.org. That's ERIC@thetownchurch.org. I'd be happy to help you. I was also, one more thing from the survey, I was also really struck by how diverse the answers were, both with what people are finding helpful as well as what people are finding unhelpful, which tells me people are engaging in lots of different ways. And so if this update is really helpful for you, it might not be for somebody else, but maybe they find the email messages really helpful, but you don't. And so overall, it's been really diverse how people are engaging. And connected to that, how we are doing personally, spiritually, and emotionally is all over the spectrum as well. People who feel pretty strongly and are sensing God's presence and are growing, as well as people who are having a really difficult and hard time in different ways and everything in between. And so here is my encouragement for us today, the little pastoral encouragement at the end. Don't feel pressure to feel a certain way, that you're supposed to have certain emotions now in this season. How you feel is how you feel. And the emotions that you experience are the emotions that you experience. And the last thing you need is guilt for not feeling a different way. Now, I think with whatever emotions we're feeling, there are healthy ways to process those and to talk about them and to be in them to work through them. But what you feel on the front end, don't feel pressure to feel something else. In fact, we're all feeling some very different things. So there should be some freedom in that. And corporately, I think this is also an encouragement for us that we have freedom then from judging each other, don't we? Like, let's be careful with that. If you're feeling one way but somebody else is feeling a different way, there's really no reason or room for judgment in there. In fact, there's actually opportunity to start to move toward each other. Maybe not even understanding how we're reacting or why we're feeling the way that we're feeling, but to ask questions out of empathy and try to understand it a little bit more. So rather than the judgment, the opportunity to move together and love and care for each other in that way. I think this is probably one of the most beautiful truths of all of this that brings unity to all of us, is that we still all have the same God, don't we? A God who loves us with a steadfast love, who is good and who is sovereign. No matter what we're feeling, no matter how we are reacting, that binds us together. It's the gospel, isn't it? That we've all been saved by grace and we can be together and love each other even though we may be feeling some different things in the middle of this. So let that be an encouragement to you. I hope it is, that our God is sovereign, He is good, and His love is steadfast. That is your weekly update.